If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you're into horror, exploitation, trash, and sleaze, aka the epitome of Empire Pictures and Full Moon Features. Well, today you're getting a twofer of exactly this type of movie. One of them is from Empire International Pictures under the banner of Urban Classics, and the other is from Full Moon Entertainment, originally meant to be part of their Deadly 10 series. Welcome to Empire of the Full Moon. I'm your host, Mike Cadaver, and today we're going to be talking about Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama Parts 1 and 2. Prepare yourself because these are absolutely chock full of everything we hold dear in trash movies. Oh, and one last thing before we get going, stay tuned, because this will be the first episode of Empire of the Full Moon that includes a contest. Clearing out the prize closet, and the first person to comment with the correct answer to the question I'm going to ask later will get his or her choice of a couple of Blu-rays or issues of Delirium magazine that can be fed. As long as it's in the closet, it's yours. Hold on to your butts, because I think this is going to be a long one, but here we go. All right, like I said, we're going to be talking about both of these movies, so why don't we do this? Obviously, let's start with the Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama from 1988. Right now, IMDb has this at a 4.9 with about 5,500 ratings, and it's about an hour and 20 minutes long. It was directed by a guy named David Dakota, and obviously, if you've been watching this show for a while, you know that this guy does a ton of stuff. He's done a ton of stuff for both Empire and Full Moon Features. He's got 181 total directorial credits. There's really too many movies to get into, but he is like the Charles Band like master, because Charles Band said, hey, you got a 5 to 10 day movie shoot and you got no budget. So guess what? We're going to go ahead and just have you direct it. And as long as you can get in those parameters, you're good. He's done a ton of different types of movies over the years, many of them pseudonymous. He did straight erotic stuff for Band under the name Ellen Cabot, Beach Babes from Beyond, Naked Instinct, Virgin Hunters, Petticoat Planet. He did a ton of homoerotic movies, both for Band and not with him. In the 2010s, there were this series of 1313 movies. And if you're my age, you'll remember going to the video store, and they just had these 1313 movies all over the place, and had all these hot shirtless dudes on the cover. It was just like, oof. Okay, but he also did a ton of stuff not named 1313, but still had a lot of shirtless dudes on the covers. Then we got to the Tidy Whitey Fridays, which is what Charles Band calls them in his book Confessions of a Puppet Master. We've talked about this on the show before. Talisman. I'll show you a clip, but I'm not going to really get into the Tidy Whitey parts. I'm not sure if I should put that stuff on YouTube, but also Voodoo Academy. Lots of shirtless dudes, and if you're into that, those are your movies to check out. But my favorite stuff that he did was well before any of that stuff. We did Creepazoids, Nightmare Sisters, which he actually did Nightmare Sisters with this basically the same cast right after this movie. And obviously Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, and Brink Stevens was in that. Dr. Alien. By the way, Julie Landers in Dr. Alien. Say what you want about David Dakota, but this dude knew how to put hot women and put them to use in his movies. And I'll just leave it at that. Puppet Master 3, Curse of the Puppet Master. Like I said, Talisman and a Retro Puppet Master. A lot of those under pseudonyms. It was written by Sergei Hansnich. This is his only screenplay, so I'm not really sure where his career went, but there's only a couple. I think this and then Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama 2 are his only writing credits, and Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama 2 is only characters. But anyways, this movie starred Linnea Quigley as Spider. We all know her. We all love her. Number one Scream Queen of the 80s. We had Andros Jones as Calvin, Rick from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master, the Karate Guy, to that, what was that band that he did? Dramarama? That one scene I could never get over. But anyway, Robin Rochelle is Barbara. Babs Peterson. She was also in the Slumber Party Massacre. We had Carla Barron as Frankie. Kathy Obrecht is Rhonda. John Stewart Wildman is Keith. Hal Havens is Jimmy. Stooge from Night of the Demons. We all love him very much. And obviously, our favorite, Brink Stevens as Taffy, and Michelle Bauer as Lisa. Oh, and by the way, we had Dookie Flyswatter, and apparently this is something that everybody brings up. I guess he was in a LA punk band called Haunted Garage, and he's been in a ton of B horror movies, like Small Parts, stuff like that. But I'm not really too familiar with him, but I'll tell you what, he does a great voice for Uncle Impy in this. And it's weird, the last thing, we have George Buck Flower in this. One of my favorite character actors that I don't even think he was drinking in this, but he typically plays a secondary alcoholic character. So this one goes against character. All right. So we have our nerds. Heroes. Nerds are cool now, which is something that my brain will never understand. But we got 3 regular dudes in college who are all about partying, seeing boobies, etc. Calvin, Jimmy, Hal Havens. We love him. Which, by the way, Hal Havens is basically the same character as Stooge in Night of the Demons. If Stooge was actually kind of nice, which in Night of the Demons he wasn't. We also have Keith. They're hanging out one Friday night, slamming beers and looking at nudie magazines. They're having the ultimate 80s sleepover fun, man. Horror movies, pizza, nudie mags, beer. I mean, I never did that because my brain wasn't fully formed in 1988. And so there's doubts as if it is so far, but this is the best I'm going to get, I think. So they know that the Tri-Delta sorority is hazing some new members tonight, so they decide to do a little harmless peeping Tom stuff. Taffy and Lisa are being hazed in. They're getting paddled on the buttocks, getting covered in whipped cream. As they're cleaning themselves up in potentially the weirdest shower situation, Taffy's hosing herself off in the tub with no curtain and like butt naked. She must be putting more soap on herself when the camera pans away because have you ever seen those jokes on like YouTube where like somebody's at the beach washing their hair and then somebody pops over and puts some more shampoo on their head and they can't figure out why it's not rinsing? I think that's kind of what's going on here because she is lathering and rinsing forever. Anyways, and Michelle Bauer's in there too, just hanging out topless, and I mean, thank goodness, right? Anyway, the boys get busted peeping and are brought into the sorority house because apparently they are in trouble as well, and Babs is scary. As an aside, ladies and gentlemen, the only reason they got busted was because of their greed. Be thankful for your safer point of view when you're being sexual predators peeping on the girls, okay? Come on, that was just a joke. Let's chill out. Because once you get too greedy, they try to get too close, and that's when they got busted. Anyway, that joke went a little darker than I expected it to. My apologies. But anyways, Bab, apparently the leader of the sorority, decides that they need to perform some kind of task to get membership into the sorority. Taffy and Lisa, along with the 3 nerds, are tasked with breaking into a bowling alley to steal a bowling trophy. Well, what they don't know is that Babs' father owns the place, and she can watch everything going on from the security video room. They break into the bowling alley and find someone that's already done some breaking and entering of her own. They find Spider, which is played by Linnea Quigley, breaking into the cash register. Everything seems to be going fine. Nothing strange is happening. That is until they bump the trophy and accidentally break it. An imp, Uncle Impy, is set loose. He's been stuck in there for many years, and in genie style, which he's not a genie, by the way, we find that on the second one, he offers to grant each person 1 wish. Jimmy wanted a stack of gold. Taffy wants to be the prom queen, which, by the way, if you have a whole wish, come on. And Keith really wants to have sex with Lisa, by the way, which screws Lisa, which is Michelle Bauer, because she doesn't really even get a wish. So, yeah, I never come to grips with that part of this movie. Do all these people get their most desired wish? Does Uncle Impy have an ulterior motive? Once you see it, will your wish be to have sex with Lisa as well? Find out by watching Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama from 1988. I mean, obviously, by the name, I'm sure that many of you have already seen this. Probably all of you have seen this already. But it's a schlocky, sleazy classic, starring one of the greatest, probably the greatest trio of scream queens ever to share the screen. Is it perfect? There's a little parts where, for instance, some of the other sorority girls, they get turned into the Bride of Frankenstein as some zit monster, and so that kind of gets old. However, this is a trash masterpiece, and if anybody says differently, they are wrong. Blood, boobs, beast. Michelle Bauer, by the way, is a stone cold fox in this. Like I said, she never got her wish, but it's like, I'll tell you what. The synth soundtrack on this, it just scratches that 80s itch. It's very simple, but it's like, I'll play a little bit of it for you, and I love it. It's great. A fun popcorn drive-in USA Up All Night type of flick. It was actually featured on USA Up All Night, and it was actually, I think, on Joe Bob's The Last Drive-In fairly recently, at least. Super fun movie. Doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's got the theme of the monkey's paw, and if I think we're kind of all familiar with that. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful getting too much power, etc., etc. It takes that and it just makes silly things out of it. But this was a 12-day shoot in September of 1987. It was had a couple of film locations, a Plaza Camino Real and Eagle One Bowl. And it was it was a low budget thing. So they basically just had to film at night while it was closed. And then once 9 a.m. hit, they had to get out of there. And anyways, it was great. George Buckflower doesn't really add anything to the story, but it's always nice to see him, kind of flexing and doing his basically what George Buckflower does. Now, okay. So I know you're wondering, why am I going to talk about a whole other movie in this episode? I mean, we're already kind of a long way into it. Well, the reason I'm going to be talking about Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama Part 2 is because literally it's the same movie. Almost the exact same movie. But let me give you some facts about this, and then we'll go ahead and talk about why it's the same movie, and I'll show you some side-by-side comparisons. We don't really need to go over the plot because it's literally the same plot. We'll compare the two in a minute. This came out in 2022, and this was going to be part of the Deadly 10. I think I've talked about that on the Subspecies 5. A little bit more about the Deadly 10. I didn't want to show all the trailers and just some of the stuff that Charles Band was talking about with that one, because if you go see that one, you go see the Subspecies 5, I think I really got kind of in depth with it. Anyway, it unfortunately, but I'll give you this short. Those were all going. It was basically, you're going to see behind this. They were going to stream everything behind the scenes, 10 hours a day. They're going to stream it, but COVID killed all that, and so that really sucked. COVID sucked, but this is probably, a huge disappointment for me. I'm not saying the biggest disappointment because COVID was all around shitty, but anyway, man. Okay, so this has a 3.3. With only 517 ratings as of today, and what is it, September 16th, 2025, you think that if there's only 517 ratings that they'd have a 10, because, I mean, you got the actors, you got the crew, and you say, there's probably 517 people between them and their immediate family and all that kind of stuff, but I guess nobody decided to push up the rating on this one. It's only 61 minutes, so even if it's bad, which we'll talk about that too, but it's only 61 minutes, but even if it's bad, you can sit through 61 minutes, okay? Brink Stevens directed this. And the thing is she's such a wonderful lady that you have to watch this just for her. Just for her. I'm sure, I'm not sure, but I assume that she's directed something before, but she's just such a wonderful person, and we owe her so much for her childhood being in all those movies, and we love it. It was written by Kent Rodebush. He only has 25 writing credits, and as far as I can tell, they're all for Charles Band, but unfortunately, they're not really the best of the bunch. A lot of those clip movies, that Full Moon did, such as Nazi-thon from 2013, the Ginger Dead Man Murder-thon from just earlier this year, a couple of those giant booby lady movies like Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl, Giantess Battle Attack, which, oh my gosh, those, they're great, but oh my gosh, it's like 7-year-old me was like, or maybe 9-year-old me was like, I have a great idea for a movie, and then Kent Rodebush wrote them, and Charles Band and Full Moon put them out, so those are excellent. He wrote a few of the Barbie and Kendra movies, Corona Zombies from 2020, Barbie and Kendra Save the Tiger King, Barbie and Kendra Storm Area 51, some regular non-series films, The Dead Want Women, Zombies vs. Strippers, The Killer Eye, Halloween Haunt, Ooga Booga, Unlucky Charms, Bring Her to Me, but it seems like one day he wrote Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, like in 2013, and he's gotten writing credits on just about every Ginger Dead Man and Evil Bong film from then on out, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But just so you know, this also starred Brink Stevens and Michelle Bauer reprising their roles. Of course, they've been stuck in the bowling trophy for this whole time. And so they got a little bit, they aged a little bit, but they're still amazing, still awesome in this. This also starred Kelly Maroney as Auntie Snake. She was the house mother for the sorority house, and she was Spider's sister. Spider, if you'll remember, was played by Linnea Quigley, and from the first film. You'll know Kelly Maroney probably from Night of the Comet and or Chopping Mall. Both are amazing, and the rest of the people here are just a host of sorority babes and peeping Tom dudes. So like I said, I'm not going to go over the plot because it's the exact same. But let's do some comparisons as we make our through the movie, okay? Number 1, there's a bunch of dudes who have nothing better to do than peep on the local sorority initiation rituals. Number 2, spanking the bottoms of the pledges during the rituals is also in this one. It's set up exactly the same way. In fact, not only are the spankings there, but the whipped cream all over the sorority pledges is also in there, which of course leads to a nice scene, kind of a more traditional, at least in the shower. It was a normal like sorority shower. It wasn't like a tub in like a bathroom where there was no curtain. This one was just like kind of the ones on the wall that are shooting down, and except for they were having a lot of fun in there. Like I was gonna say, it's probably more traditional, but I'm not sure. Well, I've never really been into the female showering rooms, but maybe it's totally normal to soap up each other and touch each other's boobies and stuff like that. How would I know? Anyways, but the boys getting greedy and caught in their sexual predatory actions. And let's be real, folks. This is some sexual predatory stuff. I can't, to be honest, I was going to talk about how, this movie couldn't be made now when I was talking about sorority babes, number 1. But apparently, it could have been made 3 years ago, so I'm wrong, up mine. But, and then basically the boys getting caught, like I said, having to go along with the sorority babes on their mission to retrieve a bowling trophy. I think it's probably so they can stay off the sex offender registry. They drop the bowling trophy, and in doing so, they release an ancient imp that can grant everybody one wish. Number 8. All the people who make a wish end up regretting it, a la the monkey's paw, like I said, where basically the wishes result in unintended bad consequences. Number 9, there are 2 people who don't make wishes, and those are the people, and number 10, those are the people who end up defeating the imp and figuring out. This one had different wishes, and these ones, are they more creative? Maybe, but one guy wished for a shitload of cash, and you can probably just tell how that went. One of the girls said she wanted the man of her dreams to also be so in love that they'll always be one with him. And by the way, I don't know that if it's a coincidence that this came out a few years before Together from 2025. Anyways, in probably one of the worst ever puns that I've ever heard. One guy wanted to be a famous rapper. That was bad. And one girl wanted everyone to leave her alone. So, yeah. The imp looked and sounded similar, but it wasn't the same guy, and I'm pretty sure it's not the same imp. But I'll tell you what, as silly as this was, and is kind of the formula, they took the formula from the first one and literally did it over again. It was only 61 minutes. So it's like you can watch it, but I'm not going to lie to you. They did definitely pad the running time. This probably could have been 45 minutes, but they put in some extra shower scenes. There was a kind of an idiotic dance party at the bowling alley. But you know what? You got to give it up to these tiny, tiny budget movies. And this is fun. I enjoyed it based on a couple of things. It followed the full moon formula for ultra low budget movie making, right? They always have you can tell. This is probably more obvious and it's not like this big reveal that I'm about to say, but you can tell the era of full moon features based on how the films look, right? Obviously they've been around for so long that the movies that look older you can tell, but a lot of these new ones look very shiny, very clean. This one came out in 2023. You had Bring Her to Me, which kind of looked the same way, just that same look and feel. The special effects were pretty funny with a lot of the same stuff that you saw in later Evil Bong and Ginger Dead movies, and so it's just kind of that that chicken soup movie that just makes you feel good. Well, it makes me feel good, gives me the warm fuzzies. But I understand that I might be the only one. But anyways, seeing Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer, and Kelly Maroney was great. No matter how silly the movie was, it was good to see them all and kind of go back. Okay, contest time, you guys. In the opening credits of Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-o-Rama 2, these women are doing an aerobic routine. Now, this routine is based on a scene from an 80s movie where some other women are doing an aerobic routine. Here's the girls doing the routine. Here's a glimpse of the scene from the other movie. No, actually, it's not from the other movie. I got a copy of what the person was watching, and it was on a TV, so a character was watching an aerobics VHS, I assume, and this is what was on that VHS tape. All right, so first person to comment what movie that's from, and a bonus feature, or a bonus, you tell me the name of the character that was doing it. I'll hit you. You can comment there, and then send me your email address. You can I'm on Facebook. I'm on. You can go to corpsecollective.com. Use the contact me there. Get a hold of me somehow, or I'll ask. And if you comment, I'll reply and give you any information that you need to do that. But that's all we got. I'm excited to give away some stuff, and I hope you guys check it out. I hope you made it this far through the video. Anyway, like I said, that's all I got for Empire of the Full Moon for this episode. Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. That would be so awesome. Visit the corpsecollective.com, and all my other projects are there, and it would be great if you did, and I appreciate it. But other than that, I'll catch you guys later.